Hello, my name is Chris Brooks. I'm a candidate for associate. In the last 18 years, I've worked in one maintenance organisation, 6 airlines and 1 flight school. On 2 of those occasions, I've actually sourced the third-party emergency response provider, and I've also written, tested and trained, etc. the emergency response plan. This experience has left me with certain views on how a plan should be structured for it to be effective, how the plan should be maintained, how it should be tested, how it should be trained, how it should be overseen, etc. I'm going to pick out a couple of those points over the next 5 minutes. Okay, some key characteristics. Plans need to be in simple language, simple English preferably. A lot of people will be working in something other than their native language. It is extremely easy, especially under pressure, for the intended meaning to be missed. Plans need to be as short as possible. No superfluous information, only that which is necessary to get the job done. Actions also need to be in a logical order, so set them out in the manual in the order in which they need to be carried out. So the first step is always notification. The second step is activation. They need to contain all of the information necessary. So, for example, in the plans that I write, inside the front cover I put the Kenyan contact directory. On the front page I put the op centre numbers for both Kenyan and my employer. They also need to be tailored, and by tailored I mean they fit the structure of the operator itself. They use only the existing resources and they reflect the management structure as well, so that people in positions of authority, the decision makers during an emergency response, are empowered to take those decisions during the course of their normal duties. So the response leader is always the accountable manager. Business continuity is often the chief commercial officer or chief financial officer. And finally, plans need to be tested and they need to be overseen. By that I mean, I'll come into it on the second slide after this one, but principally it is that they need to be examined on a growing scale throughout an annual cycle. Deficiencies need to be tracked, and for this you can use your existing compliance monitoring software. Now, the system that I typically use is SMS 360, the one that I have the most experience with. Okay, now the model structure. 3 chapters or 3 sections, call them what you will. But the first is the functional, the part that is needed to get the job done. The second is the supporting information, the bit that gives context that describes what third-party support organisations do, what individual responsibilities are. Job descriptions for key persons is another element that should go in here. The final section is the appendices, where I put hard copy of the checklists. Now, you may have an IT system that supports the recording of completion of checklists, but bearing in mind that under pressure of a real emergency response, you need to be free to move. You cannot afford to be bound to a keyboard. Therefore, I will always advise that paper checklists are used. I'm going to pick out one element from each of chapters 1 and 2 and the next 2 slides. Okay, alert and activation. Speed and accuracy of information are the keys here. Access to a person within the organisation must be somebody either on a duty roster, or it must be ops control or an equivalent, but it must be somebody who is contactable 24/7. That person needs to know how to gather data from the person who is notifying, and that could be somebody from outside of your organisation. And for this, the manual should contain a form, ideally the Kenyan activation form, and that is filled in to the extent possible. Those people then, through training, through practice, through management culture, need to be empowered to notify the next people in the management chain, be it the accountable manager, be it the chief operating officer, whoever is designated as the next step. From that, rapid decisions and clear, effective decisions through to activating the various elements of the response, be it the emergency response team, the GO team, the third party, and all of these contents depend on how your organisation is structured. The next element is training and oversight, and for this there are 2 things I really want to pull out. Reviews. when you graduate your training, so initially you would actually test the notification chain, the timings and the accurate passing of information. Through graduated exercises every second year, do a full call out, involve third parties if you can. But after each phase of training, review it. Use your safety review board. That's an established mechanism, and use your compliance monitoring system, such as SMS 360 in this case, to record the deficiencies. Persons are assigned, due dates are assigned, and your existing SMS system, or CMS system functionality rather, has the methodology established already for tracking timely and effective completion. Okay, this is all I can fit into in the short time that we have available. I hope it's been interesting. You have my contact details below on the slide. Please fire any questions to me if you wish. Thank you.